Hello and welcome to another episode of the Women Can Do Show. I am your host, Rochelle, and you have arrived to another episode where we talk not about what's trending, but what's purposeful. And I am so excited to have our special guest today, Lachey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm excited. And so, just to let you all know who Lachey Ruffin is, she's the founder of Rebuild Her, which is an identity coaching program that helps high functioning women uncover and heal the root cause of rejection and abandonment so they can rebuild their confidence, self worth, and identity. And our topic for today is finding freedom beyond rejection and abandonment. That is such a great and much needed discussion that needs to be had. But before we get into that, tell us, who is Lachey and what inspired you to launch Rebuild Her?
Okay. I would describe myself as an ordinary woman with a crazy vision that was literally rebuilt by God.
Yeah.
I am a auntie, I'm a daughter, I'm a coach, I'm an entrepreneur. But outside of those things, I was a woman who was always smiling at work, whatever, very friendly, but I was carrying a lot of burdens. Like,
Mm,
not just my own burdens, but I felt like people would always come to me with their problems.
yeah.
And so it was super heavy.
You
And
take it on.
I never felt like anybody would want, ask, like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So being on the other side of like freedom is what inspired me to start Rebuild Her. It's like
Yeah.
up in the middle of the night and it was like tugging at my heart that
Wow.
I want to be able to help, other
Yeah.
women. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And because so many women, um, we as women, we go through these seasons and we have so much in common. We all go through some of the same seasons, but at different times, maybe at different times in our lives. So I love for someone like yourself who has, went through some of these things and decided, hey, you know what, I want to share my story. I want to help coach and transform the lives of another woman who doesn't have to go through this part of the season. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think that that is beautiful that you were led to do that. So that's definitely a beautiful thing. So you describe yourself as looking strong on the outside while carrying rejection and abandonment on the inside. So, what did that season of your life look like that you're referring to?
Well, first, I want to say that was the majority of my life up until
Wow.
6 years ago.
Wow.
Um, I was the strong friend, if you
Mm,
will.
yeah.
Um, if you would ask anybody around me, like, how is she doing? They'll be like, oh, she's great. She's this and that. But really inside, I wasn't.
Wow.
I had voids and unworthiness and all of the things that trauma bring,
Mm,
no one knew. I didn't show it. So yeah, it's very interesting season because that was pretty much most of my life. And honestly, thinking back on that, I feel like when you're carrying burdens that can manifest into other things. And
mm-hmm.
when I think back years and years ago, I had health issues like I had brain surgery from a brain
Mm,
tumor, autoimmune, and all these different things.
wow.
And I really believe that it's just from the stress of the burdens inside.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I've said this multiple times how what's on the inside eventually shows up on the outside. For example, if you're carrying, guilt, carrying unforgiveness, carrying, you know anger or bitterness or whatever, it eventually causes you to get sick. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
eventually, affects your health. It eventually affects your skin. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you have to like really think deep into that. And I can, attest to it as like carrying, bitterness or unforgiveness and anger, and it would show up in other areas, but I didn't know until I
Mhm.
decided to say, hey, I'm going to release this. And then I think back like, oh my gosh, when this happened, that's what that was. When I was feeling like this, that's what that was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have a true revelation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, that's something. Um, so how would you say unresolved rejection and abandonment, um, how does it shape our confidence, relationships, and the way that we see ourselves?
Mm, um, that's a good question. Rejection and abandonment to me is very sneaky
Mm,
because I didn't know I had these things. It doesn't always, like sometimes you can see it, it shows up, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes it's behind the scenes and like
Mm,
people pleasing or self sabotage. One of the ones I know for sure was self sabotage. I would sabotage every relationship, not romantic. I mean, friendships, whatever, like,
wow.
because, there's something really deep down inside internally that you are really believing.
Mhm.
And that shapes who you are, that shows up in a way of like, I didn't trust people, I didn't trust myself. So if someone was brought into my life, I wouldn't be able to continue with the friendship, or maybe they were part of my destiny helper in life. And I
Wow.
cut them off because something very minute,
Mhm.
because I was believing that. So it's unhealthy just all the way across the board.
And it's just like with unforgiveness. It causes you not to trust because I had that. That was like my biggest struggle, and I've shared this before. Was unforgiveness. And it did it. I had this wall up, and I feel like now that I'm on the other side of it, I feel like I blocked some people out that God was probably sending, that God had probably, you know what I mean, placed in my path.
Absolutely.
And so once I got on the other side of it, now I see the people that God had, and I embrace the people that God had,
Hmm.
placed in my path. But like I said, once I got on the other side, I'm like, wow, I wonder how many people did I reject? Because I was big on the no new friends, no new friends,
Me
and,
too.
and no new family members. You know those family members that show up at the family reunion. Hey, I'm your cousin. No, you're not.
I was the same way. I was
I
so
was.
bad with trust. Like,
Oh my
I
God.
would
Yeah.
I was so bad with trust. Like, I would always tell people this and they would laugh, but it's the truth. If the mailman comes at 2 o'clock normally and it's 3 o'clock and he's not there, I'm like, I don't trust it. What's going on? Like, what? Like, my
Yep.
trust with people was terrible.
Terrible. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I totally. And so that's a good example of a way that those things manifest. And you know what I mean? And shows up, like you said, in your relationships friendships that you could have built with, you know what I mean? Or sisterhoods that
Absolutely.
you could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was it, like something particular that affected your trust? You know what I mean? Or that, where you have that wall up, were there, like, let's say, example of failed friendship where you know what I mean, somebody turned their back on you? Or because I know for me it was kind of like that, where people that I trusted, and that I'm big on loyalty, and
Mhm.
people that I was really loyal to, and then I find out that that loyalty is not the same. And so it's happened a few times. And so each time it would happen, I'm like, okay, I'm done with people.
Yeah.
I'm not letting anybody else in. I'm not, I'm not opening up to anybody. And it was like that for years. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I have the goosebumps, so I guess that means I should. I
Uh,
think my trust issues came from when I was a little girl. My mother used to let my uncle babysit me,
mm-hmm.
and he used to molest me.
Oh wow.
And
Oh,
I think
sorry to
from
hear
being
that.
so young, that's where like the trust part came in.
Yeah.
And then it
Wow.
ended up happening again
Mm-hmm.
with like an older cousin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so thinking back on that, um, I didn't trust men specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Totally
didn't trust
understandable
people,
from
but
that.
specifically, I didn't trust men because so I think that's where my trust issues came from.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. And so how did you end up identifying that? How did you first of all, how did you first of all, I'm sorry that that happened to
Yeah.
you. Um how did you overcome that and then identify that hey, that's what this is.
It took a long time.
Mhm.
Um, because we think that we get over things, but we don't, right? And even
Mhm.
that showed up in like romantic relationships and stuff like that. But
Mm.
I remember the first time I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try therapy, seeing a therapist, because I recognize that I keep evicting people out of my life. Why do I keep kicking
Wow.
people out of my life? And that was the rejection, like that was the abandonment. I'm sorry. I felt like I'm going to leave them before they left me.
Ah.
Yeah, didn't know that, but it's so deep.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mhm. And so I started getting therapy the first time, and then when it was time to talk about that part of like the molestation, I would always say, "Can we wait till next visit?" And then I
Mm.
stopped going. And I did
Mm.
that for like 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then eventually as I got older, I was like, I can't I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then I really believe that like when you surrender something to God
Mm.
and really just lay it down and give it to him, then he will work that thing out like
Yeah.
supernaturally, right? So of
Yeah.
course it was a lot of things that I had to do like in my own flesh, of
Of course. Yeah.
course. But I know that like God helped me and led me, and that was also painful, like
Yeah.
just overcoming what happened to me. And when you recognize it, like kind of like what you said, like, wow, this is why I did this and this is why I did
Mhm.
that. I
Yeah.
remember just like crying because I felt bad for myself,
Mm. Yeah.
almost like the little girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
mhm,
Ooh, you have a testimony, honey.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. About the goodness of God. Like you said, it was that once you just laid it all down and you know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like release that burden because it was heavy. You know what I mean? And like
mhm,
you said initially, how you had these sicknesses occur, and like you said, it was from, it could have been from carrying all that heaviness, the
mhm.
stress of it, the emotional pain of it, the mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, wow. So you said that you work with a lot of high achieving women, basically, women that are claim to fame is I have it all together, so we think.
Mhm, mhm.
So why are emotional wounds harder to recognize in high functioning women?
Um, I believe that high functioning women, because they're high functioning, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
they're caught up in performance and they're good at performing.
Mhm.
And they wear the biggest mask,
Yeah.
right? So it's like the CEO or the person in real estate, or they have the great job or even the great marriage or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
All of these accolades.
Mhm.
And even I found that a lot of them are overachievers.
Yeah.
So they're overachieving because there's a root to that, right?
Mm.
So I think someone on the outside looking in, they may even envy that woman
Yeah.
because it looks good. It's
Yeah.
glitter on the outside, but really inside it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a terrible way to live. So yeah, you can cover it very well. Just
And what happens
by
is getting caught up, like you mentioned, being busy, overachieving, getting caught up in busyness to,
mhm,
the busyness is what mask it. It's like, oh, I
mhm,
did this, okay, then I'm gonna even strive for more. And it sometimes I think it's probably lack of confidence. Like the person may appear to be, because like you said, on the outside looking in, they have it all together. They're very successful. That woman can still lack confidence. And a lot
yes,
of that trying to achieve more, not just more, but higher, trying to climb higher, um, that's also a mask, you know, of
Yes.
again lacking that confidence. So thinking, hey, I need more to feel worthy.
Yeah, and you know what also that is? It's like because she's climbing and she's climbing, okay, I have this project and I'm going to do this, and she's accomplishing all these different things,
Yeah,
but she's never going to have that peace because she has that void in her spirit.
yeah, yeah,
She's always going to be chasing the next thing until
yeah,
she deals with the real trauma.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And then, so what is your advice to that woman, the you know that we just described? What is your advice? I don't know. I always say, and it's something I had to learn. Slow down and take time for yourself, and then also in all of the things that you're doing. What does this really mean? What is this? How is this going to serve someone else? And that's kind of the mindset I've taken on. Okay, is what I'm doing, could it be detrimental to me?
Hmm.
Um, how is it going to move me forward? And that's from the inside out. And then how is it going to serve others?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we have, again, we get caught up in achieving all these things. Like, okay, and I look at people like that. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? How, you know what I mean? How is it you have it, but now what are you going to do with it? How are you going to grow with it? How is it going to enhance your life? How is it going to enhance the lives of others?
Yeah. Because it's not always about us, it's
Exactly.
about other
Absolutely.
people on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So you talk about root healing from the root instead of just managing the symptoms, because oftentimes that's what we do. We cope. We just kind of
Mhm.
put these temporary band-aids on it, and again, one of the things we do is the whole, okay, I need to do something else now. I've done that. I need to do something else. I need to do this. I need to stay busy.
Yeah.
So with that, what does healing at the root look like? When you talk about that, what does that look like?
That's my favorite question
Yeah.
because my friends laugh at me because whenever it could be like a simple conversation, and I'm like, what is the root to that?
Yeah.
And I
Like
do it with myself
anything.
too.
Anything. Yeah.
I do it with myself too. If I felt this, I'm like, what was the root that
No.
you were love? Yeah, right.
Yep.
So healing to the root, I explain this for people can understand, like, say when you go to the doctor, right? And let's just say you got diagnosed with high blood pressure.
Mhm.
And so now you're taking medication and it keeps your blood pressure down.
Mhm.
But that pill is only treating the symptom, which is elevated blood pressure, dizziness, whatever, headache, whatever comes with
Yeah,
high
yeah.
blood pressure. But as soon as you stop taking it, it's going to reappear because the root cause of that thing is probably you need to change your diet. You need to start eating more whole foods, lay
Mhm.
off the fast food, lay off the sweets,
Mhm.
get active, that is the root. And so it
Yeah.
will always reappear if you don't get to it. So, like, in the identity space, it's kind of like what we said, like somebody that's always busy, or maybe she feels unworthy, she
Mhm.
feels unloved. Maybe she
Mhm.
grew up in a home where she didn't get nurtured and she didn't get loved on.
Yeah.
And so maybe she doesn't even know this. And so now she's keeping busy because she feels the void, or maybe she's in the same relationship, different guy,
Yeah.
because
Mm.
she's searching for that love that she never got as a child. And
Yeah.
that is the root. That's
Yeah.
the root to it. So you're just switching different relationships.
Mm.
6 months, two
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
different guy, same guy, different name. And it's the root. And getting to the root is the answer. It can be painful because it really calls you to like reflect and relive it sometimes. And yeah, That's that.
And that's the thing, the process. When people say trust the process, um, I think people say it as a cliche. It's like, no, are you trusting the process? Is trusting the pain part of the process, because you got to go through the pain. Pain is part of the process in healing anything, big or small, right? Pain is part of the process. And so trusting that you're going to get through that pain, that ultimately God is going to get you through that pain, trusting that you're going to get through that pain, to me is really trusting the process. And again, like
Mhm.
you said, getting to the root of it is getting to the root is digging deep. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
go back and go deep, but you got to be willing to trust that. You got to be willing to trust that process of going deep. And like you
Mhm.
said, revisiting, you know what I mean?
Yep.
What happened. Like you have to, and trust that you're going to come out on the other side healed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. So,
Yeah. 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 And so how did you because I'm sure you've been through you're on the other side of
mhm.
something, right? Um, and so when you get to those pain points, um, how did you get, you know what I mean? How did you get past the pain points? Like, was there, like, I know some people kind of have like routines, breathing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Breathing, taking deep breaths, counting or different things, you know what I mean? When you feel because the pain points they hit here, in the heart, of
Yeah.
course. So what did you do to get past those points in order to get on the other side of this?
Okay. I talk about this a lot.
Mm,
Deciding to do something.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Everybody makes a decision to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and with that decision, there is freedom on the other. Well, hopefully, it's a good decision. There's freedom on the other side. There's like a commitment to yourself. So I
Yeah.
committed to myself. I'm deciding that I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to heal. I'm going to transform. I'm going to redesign. I
Mm-hmm.
decide. You have been there for everybody your entire life. It's time for you to choose you
Yeah.
and be there
Mm,
for Lachey, right?
mm,
And so that's something that kept me going, reminding myself, right?
mm.
Like it's my turn now.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
turn.
I like
And
that. Yeah.
then also changing my language. Our language is so important, what we say, what we speak.
Mm.
I believe that, well, I don't believe, this is a fact. The voice we hear the most is our own.
Absolutely.
So it's our thoughts, right? Is what we
Yeah.
say out loud. And I change my language to what I can't do or I won't do or this is impossible to I can and I
Okay.
will. And it's timing. So I had the unworthiness thing. It's like, no, I am worthy, regardless of
Mm.
how I feel. I may have had an interaction with somebody where they made me feel unworthy, but now that I know that I am, no, I am
Yeah.
worthy. And just speaking the affirmations, speaking those
Yeah.
things over your life
Yeah.
and just waking up and just deciding. And I'm telling you, like, it's powerful and it
Mm.
may sound cliche, I don't know, but it helps.
No, it's true. And I love how you said that, changing the language. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? What you're speaking.
Yeah.
And like you said, the loudest voice is your voice. It's your thoughts.
Yes.
It's like if you think it, yeah, then that's what's good. This is how this is gonna turn out. This is how it's gonna be.
Mhm.
I
Yeah. So
love that.
that's
Change the language.
change the language.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's very great advice. So you talk about becoming a woman of God, and how um being a woman of God, and how God created us to be, instead of, or being the woman who trauma created. And I love how you said that, And I this is, I kind of live by this, like, how does God see me? Forget how
Mhm.
everybody else sees me,
Yes.
right? How does God see me? I want to be the woman who God created me to be. And I love how you said that about becoming the woman who God created you to be, instead of the woman who trauma
Yes.
um created. So what, speak to that.
Unpack it.
Unpack it.
That is really a lot to unpack, to articulate. But when you have trauma, uh, it does become your identity, right?
Yeah.
If it's unresolved, any
Right.
unresolved trauma becomes your identity.
Yes.
And when it's your identity, that's the way that you show up for yourself. It's the way that you show up to the world.
Mm,
It's what you believe about yourself because
so
it's
true.
your identity. And
Yeah.
it affects how you move
Yeah.
every single day. It affects your thoughts, And so it's almost like, and when you have those traumas, you're more influenced by what the world says,
Mm.
uh,
Yes.
what social media says that you
Yes.
should be, or maybe even the closest people to you,
Yeah.
your immediate family says that you should be, and that's who you become. That's who you are. But and I mean, there may be somebody listening today that's not a believer, but I'm
Yeah.
speaking to the believer.
Yeah.
When you actually know God for yourself and you have
Mhm.
an intimate, personal relationship with Him,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
nothing can touch that. No,
Nothing.
there's nothing somebody could say, what society could say, what the job could say, the qualifications. Like, when you know that, like, God created me, like, He knew me when I was in my mother's womb, type,
Exactly.
it's just, it's so deep and it's so special. And when you look at it from that point of view, it's like, I am the daughter
Mm.
of the king,
Of the
right?
king. Yep.
That's what helps you reshape, because nothing else matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing else matters. It's like, it's almost, I noticed with me, like, I got this boldness about myself, right? I used to be super introverted, and now I'm
Mm.
like outgoing. I have a boldness about me now because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, I
Yeah.
know who's backing me up every day. I know that, like, even in business, that somebody over here could be, have connections, manifesting whatever they're doing, but the God that I serve knows everybody. So He can
Everybody.
connect me to whoever and give me one play, and I
Yep.
propel further than the next person.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's just so deep, because, like, if you know, you just know, right?
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on sharing this, but it just came to my mind. I remember years ago, I don't know, it's maybe about 5 years ago, I would say,
Mhm.
when I was kind of finding myself, and I was at the church that I attended at the time. And I know, like, some believers, they're like, certain holidays are pagan or whatever, but just don't miss the mark in the story. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
Valentine's Day, and they handed out these sugar cookies, and they were hearts, and it had a message on it. And I remember I had my hand up for a cookie, and I looked down at the cookie, and it said, "You are loved."
Mm.
And I had my moment with God from reading that cookie, because to somebody else, they may just be like, "Oh, it's Valentine's Day, like, it's the love month, right?"
Mhm. Yeah.
For me, I knew that I was transitioning, and God was doing the work in me, and I also was doing my own work internally.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that it really hit like that, because I knew it was Him talking to me, that I got that particular cookie
Yep.
that said, "You are loved."
Yeah.
And it's no love like Him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I cried, and I never ate the cookie. I just held on to it, because,
Wow.
like, I was like, "I thank you," because He was speaking to me, and it
Yeah.
was time for me to get out of what I had been walking through. And it just was, Yeah, okay. It was just
Yeah,
so special, so I just wanted to share that,
that's
like,
beautiful. No, that's
yeah.
beautiful. And again, like you said, it's important. Here's the thing. God is the creator. If you have that connection with the creator and you know how the creator feels about you, you know that the creator loves you, the person who created you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? When you think about it like that, it's like, yeah, I know whose I am, so
Yes,
I know who I am.
that's right.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that and again, like you heard from God in that moment, right? From that being on that cookie.
On a
But
cookie.
that's because you had that connection.
Yes.
That's because you had that connection. And that's why that's so
Mhm.
important, for us to have that intimate relationship, because you have to have an intimate relationship in order to be able to identify that, hey, this is God speaking to me. So I
Mhm.
think I thank you for sharing it. I think that is so beautiful. I think that somebody, you know what I mean, needs to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you say to the person that is rebuilding their identity after a painful experience? With and okay, and rebuilding, they've been through a painful experience. Um And now they're at that point where it's like, okay, I'm on the other side of this and now I want to rebuild, but I don't want those past experiences to affect my future.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, like, we're human. We're human beings, right? So
Yeah.
the thoughts will come,
Yeah, of course.
but
Yeah.
you are not defined by your past. Like, we all have a past, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some things
Yeah.
that she may, or you, maybe I'm talking to her, whoever she is,
Yeah.
that you have experienced that you're not proud of, and maybe you have some shame behind it. Um, but it goes back to knowing like who you are,
Yeah.
making a decision to say, this is the final goodbye to my past.
I like that.
And now I'm going to make the necessary steps no matter what. I'm not going to give up on myself. And I'm going to get to the other side and bring along trusted people
Yeah.
that can help you,
That's
because
important.
I did it alone, which is what took me so long, many,
Mm.
many years. But I didn't trust people. And, I had all these other
Yeah,
issues,
yeah.
which is why. But bring along someone else or maybe a couple other people, because you're going to need the support, because you will have days where you need hope, and you just can't do it by yourself. You need another human to
Yeah.
speak that hope into you. And like, just know that like you're not the only person that are in your that are walking in your shoes,
Yeah.
but you get to decide to get a brand new pair of shoes to walk in,
Yeah.
and that's up to you to do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And it's in line with that saying, decide, commit. As you were saying that, I was thinking decide, commit, succeed.
Mhm.
When
Yep.
you said about how you made a decision, that was my first that it took me back to that. Decide, commit, succeed. And that could be something you repeat to yourself. You know what I mean? Decide, nope, decide. I decided, now I got to commit in order to
Mhm.
succeed. Yeah.
I can't I When I have, which is, I we all have them, where I'm like working on something and I feel like the momentum is slow, or whatever, and I'm always like, I can, I
Yep.
will, I must, I can, I will. Like, I say that out loud to myself. I
Yeah.
can, I will, I must, I can, I will, I must. Yeah.
Again, like you said before, change your language.
Mm-hmm. The
But
language.
mine's is I can do all things except quit. And I actually,
Ooh, I like
so
that one.
and I told this story before. How it's so we have a I have a brand I can do. We have a brand store, and so where we have
Oh,
empowerment teas. I put that inscription. We actually sell a tea now that says that, and it was just one day I was feeling overwhelmed, and I'm like, okay, I can't. I can do this. I can do all things. I kept just out of the blue. I kept repeating it, and I wrote it on a sticky note because I'm big on sticky notes.
me too.
Got a bunch of them all over my desk. And so I put it on a sticky note, put it there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I think it was like the next day. I'm like, I'm gonna put this on one of our teas. Yeah, I can do all things except quit. But again, it was me, because I do that, speak it out loud to myself.
Hmm.
When it because again, like you even though you're going through the rebuilding process, you still have old thoughts. Those old thoughts will still resurface. It's not like, hey, everything's gonna be perfect during this process. You're
No,
rebuilding.
it doesn't
You're
vanish.
rebuilding. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so you have those, but again, changing the language, how you speak
Mhm.
to yourself. Yeah, I think that is so important. I think that's very great advice.
And I also, when you change how you speak to yourself, you
Hmm.
learn to set boundaries on how others
Come
speak to you
on.
as well. Because a lot of times when women are, they have unworthiness or whatever it is,
Yeah,
they don't have any boundaries.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just let people do whatever, say whatever. They have these fears behind speaking up. But when you change your language for yourself, that changes the dynamic of other people as well. So,
Mm.
yeah.
How they treat you, how they see you. You know what I mean? Those
Mhm.
boundaries are so important.
Yes,
Boundaries
it's so important.
are so important. And some people take boundaries as, oh, she's holding a grudge or she has to wall up. No, first of all, boundaries are biblical. Let's be clear.
Mhm.
um, let's take it there, right? But yeah, and so some people do on the outside perceive that it's like no, you can't take advantage of me anymore. That's why you're labeling it
Mhm.
as that. But this is a boundary, and again, it's about knowing who you are, and respecting yourself.
Yeah.
And once you start respecting yourself, you will set healthy boundaries for yourself, not even just boundaries for other people not to cross, even boundaries for you not to cross yourself. Because a lot of times we do things to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so you we that's the first boundary that needs to be set, the boundaries within ourselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not letting yourself down.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so important. So what do you do like for self-care? What do you do
I
to,
love
because
that question.
again, I know, like like you said, you've been through, trauma, and you're on the other side of it, but being on the other side of it also requires heavy self-care
Yeah.
from the inside out, like regular, you know what I mean? So in order to stay on the other side of it. So what do you do?
Yeah.
Like daily,
Well, it's hard to say daily because, life gets busy. But
yeah.
self-care for me is I like silent. Like I have to have a time of silence. Typically I prefer in the morning.
Ah,
So like silence in the morning,
yeah.
coffee, so I
Mm-hmm.
can sip my coffee, I can hear my thoughts, I can,
Mm.
plan my day or whatever. Um, I am a hot tub girl, so I love going to the hot tub. Where I live, we have a community where there's a hot tub, or I'll do like
Mm.
a day spa or something like
Yeah.
that. But I love that.
Yeah.
I love being in the sun. I live in California, so we have
Yeah.
sun all the time. So
Yep.
oh, right, you're in California too, right? I forgot about that. Um,
Sunny
um,
California.
um, just walking. I love going to like the lake, and I'll take like a little journal with me, and
Yeah.
I'll plug in some music, and I'll walk around the lake, and
Mm.
I'll sit, maybe journal some thoughts, and watch the birds. It's just,
Yeah.
I love that. I just
Yeah.
love that, being in nature, and
Hmm.
that's self-care for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. The walking and now I notice I like silence.
Mhm.
I like silence, and just to kind of, really listen to your thoughts,
Yes.
and part of listening to your thoughts is first of all, for me, I want to hear from God, but I also want to get rid of thoughts that I don't need, that shouldn't be, you know what I mean, circling around in my mind. And so that's one thing. When I get silent, it's like, okay, and I'll say it out loud, like, get that out of your mind. Nope, nope,
Yep.
we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's my I always say it to myself. Nope, we're not doing that.
Mhm. Yeah, I do that too. I'm like, nope, I do not accept that. I do
Yeah.
not accept that. Nope, I don't accept it.
And
It
again,
sounds
like you
silly,
said,
but it works.
no, but again, like you said in the beginning, the language,
The
speaking that
language.
language, and
Mhm.
again, the language that fits you, like you said, yours is I won't accept that, right? I'm not going to accept that. Mine's is we're not doing that. For somebody else, it may be, but again, changing that language that you speak to yourself, stop
Mhm.
it, accepting something because it's there. It doesn't have to be there. You
Yeah.
can change that thing, especially your mindset. You can shift that thing.
Oh, that mindset, you definitely, but that's a practice in itself. You
That's a
definitely have to
practice.
go with your mindset.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Mindset. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to change your mindset, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's beautiful to have a different mindset. I just thought about I was having a conversation with this guy last week, and I said something about I did like a webinar for a first time buyers program.
Uh-huh.
And I was telling him about it because I was excited about it. And he's like, I want to buy a condo. And then
Yeah.
he was like, how are you going to buy a condo in San Diego? I was like, excuse me? I was like, I do not accept what
I
you just
didn't.
put on me. And that's an example. Like that could just be your thought, but what other people say to you can become
Mm.
your thoughts. And he's nobody to me. But imagine if there was someone close to me. The people that are close to you, what they
Yeah.
say to you, it holds weight, right? And so then you
Yeah.
start going through this process of like, well, can I really? You go down it.
You
And
start
so
doubting yourself.
you start doubting yourself. And so it's so important to be careful. Other people's language, like what they say to you. And
Hmm.
that may just mean that you can't share certain things with them
There you go. Right there.
to
Yeah.
save yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
allowing you to speak doubt into my situation. And
Yeah.
then people do it all the time. Why do you
Yeah.
think I can't do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so. I'm glad you use that as an example, because that is so true. And like you said,
Mhm.
imagine someone who really wasn't confident that, hey, I can. They would have taken that. You know what? You're right. I can't, and I'm just never
Absolutely.
going to even try it again.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just, oh my gosh, yeah. Just imagine that, and that's again. As you were saying that, I thought about how people allow others to invade their thoughts. When you were saying that guy said that to you, that's what I thought about invading. You know how somebody invades your space?
Mhm.
That's invading your thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, because it could, if you're not, confident in that, hey, I can and I will,
Yeah.
um, that person saying that could invade the thought of you even, hey, I want to do this. And to,
Mhm.
you know what, no, I can't do this. I don't qualify. This
Yep.
is going to be too much. Instead of
Just simply.
trusting, again, I can, I will. First of all, because of the God I serve.
Hello.
Ultimately, again, it
Yes.
goes back to whose I am
That's right. That's right.
defines who I am. Whose I
Yeah.
am defines who I am.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
that
you,
is so.
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I moved to San Diego 8 years ago. And
Yeah.
I moved here not knowing anybody, by the way.
Wow.
When I tell you, I think like 3 people until it was time for me to move, because I knew that if I told certain people, the
Yep.
naysayers, they were going to put this fear on me. Remind you,
Yeah.
I was already fearful back then,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
made the move and I said, nope, I'm not. And I'm so, I remember a specific friend that I was like, I'm going to test the waters with her. And I told her that I was planning to move. And then she's like, why would you move there? They have a lot of earthquakes and mudslides. And I was like, oh gosh, this is why I didn't want to tell her.
Yep.
And it just go like, I'm just thankful
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I moved the way that I moved, because had I listened to the naysayers, there's a chance I could
Yeah.
still be living there.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yes, so you just got to
But
be careful what you share with people.
that's
You
yeah.
know, some people, everybody doesn't
I
have
had
a
to learn
million
that.
dollar
Yeah.
vision. Yeah,
I had to learn
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody doesn't get it. You know, I
Mhm.
had to learn like you can't share everything with everybody if especially if they don't get the vision. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that. I still struggle with this sometimes, because the people that you love and you're excited about
You
something, you
get
want to share with
excited. Oh
them,
my gosh. And
and
it's
then
like,
you're reminded.
why can't I? No, oh yeah, I 100% get that, but I had to like, it took me some time to realize it. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't share this with this person
Mhm.
or that person. That, yeah, no. I totally, I've been there. Yeah. Um,
But you know what?
again, because it's like you said, you get excited. And it's like, you think like,
Yeah,
hey,
you
I
want them
want
to
to share.
know.
I'm excited. I want you to know this. And then there's like this hammer, and it's like, or there's like no reaction. It's like, okay, I just wasted
Yes.
my excitement on what it's like,
Yeah.
hey, get excited with me, you know. Yeah, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's a valuable lesson that,
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
still walking through that sometimes.
yeah.
But one thing about God, God will put strangers in your life to celebrate your wins.
Listen,
I'm living that life right now.
and did. How do they say and did? Okay.
And did.
Trust me. Yes, he will. I
Yes.
can attest to
So
that.
it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I am excited. I thank you. I thank you for coming on the show. I thank you for all that you shared. I pray many blessings on Rebuild Her. I think that is just amazing because so many women go through that rebuilding phase at any age. You know what I mean? 30, you know, from mistakes they may have made in their 20s, 40 from mistakes they have made in their, you know, 30s, 50, 60. No matter
Mhm.
what age, women often go through that rebuilding, you know, stage. And so I think it's important for us to share not only, like you said, your identity coach, how to get through the rebuilding stage, but also share our experiences in going through the rebuilding stage. So it can, you know, remove that fear from someone else who knows, like, hey, I know I need to rebuild. Gosh, I don't know where to start. I don't want to do this. I'm fearful of what's going to happen in this rebuilding stage. But the good thing about it is you get to start over. That's how I had to start looking at it. Even like especially like with entrepreneurs who make mistakes in business and something happens, a decline happens, whatever, you got to start over. The good thing is that you're still living and breathing and you get to start over.
Yep. That's
You
it.
get to start over and try it a different way. Now that you, and the key is though to learn from the mistakes and,
Yeah.
and shift that mindset before starting over. But again, the beauty in that is getting to start over. So when I hear rebuild, that's what I think.
Mhm.
Starting over, a fresh start. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's all about how you think of it. Rebuilding is not a bad thing. Rebuilding is a good thing. It's another opportunity that God has given you to do it another way, to do it His way.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I thank you for joining us. I thank you for coming onto the platform. I am empowered, inspired, and encouraged by what you've shared, by your journey. I love the work that you're doing again because I said like I said, I think it's needed because there's so many women who are rebuilding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me, and I hope you have an amazing week.
You
Rest of the week.
too. So let the viewers know how they can reach you.
Oh, they can reach me at Rebuild Her 25. It's one word on Instagram or YouTube. Rebuild Her 25.
All right. So again, thank you for coming on to the show. Thank you to our viewers for tuning in to another episode. I pray I that someone was encouraged and empowered to, hey, if you are in that rebuilding season, decide, commit, and you will succeed. Connect with your creator. Connect with God. When you know who God is, you know who your creator is, you know that God loves you, then it should be easy for you to be who you were called to be. All right. So again, thank you all for tuning in. If you're new, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That subscribe button is right there. Click subscribe. We air every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with some amazing women sharing their stories, sharing great advice, empowering, and just wanting to transform lives. Also, be sure to register for our upcoming 6th annual I Can Do Women Empowerment Conference. I am excited for all the things that we have in store. Trust me, you are going to have an amazing time. You will definitely leave empowered. So you can go to our Instagram at I Can Do Biz. You can go to our website, www.icando.biz. Our Facebook is I Can Do Org. The link to, or there, you register to the conference via an Eventbrite link. That Eventbrite link is on all of our social media pages. So be sure to register and be in attendance. You will not be disappointed. We have some amazing things in store. All right. God bless you all. Have an amazing rest of your week. And as always, remember to finish the week strong. All right. God bless. Bye.